going live right now. Good morning, everybody. I'm super excited to have this first live. We are doing an online interview today, and the month of June has been super awesome with the Energy Healing Conference coming up at the end of the month. And that's going to be in Sandy, Utah, and on June 28th and 29th. And yours truly is going to be a speaker about using the why now formula. Like, why should I move now? Now's the best time, right? So I'm interviewing several of the healers there. And today, although he's not going to be there, I've really wanted to be able to interview Mr. Josh Lucio. And I'm super excited about today, because today's talk or today's interview is really about healing your relationship with money. And a lot of times we have all these things and fear and doubt around money. And I just wanted to bring somebody on who's kind of overcome that and really is empowering others. So I want to be able to introduce Mr. Josh Lucio. So let's see, here we go. There we go. So good morning, Josh. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on the show today.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm so thrilled that you were able to be like, yes, I could do this. And so we are just going to go ahead and jump right in. So Josh, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. So I'm going to first introduce myself in Zuni. So Josh Lucio and that just basically means I'm from Zuni, and my clans are turkey and tobacco.
That's awesome. Okay, great. And welcome to our podcast this morning. And we're going to be talking a little bit about healing our relationship with money. And that can be difficult for some. And this podcast really is about sharing other people's stories and having them giving them an opportunity to really share. And others might be able to relate to that, right? Anyone on those frequencies will tune into that. And that's what I'm all about. So Josh, tell us about your journey with your once you stepped onto that healing road with money, like what triggered that?
Absolutely. So just a little bit more. I became a licensed financial professional a little over 3 years ago with World Financial Group, and currently affiliated with Team Dreamcatcher, headquartered in Phoenix, Arizona. And my philosophy and start really became from what I used to do, which was I worked in scholarships. So working in higher education and giving students scholarships meant that I was working with first generation college students. So these are individuals who didn't have parents that went to college. They were the first in their family to go to college. And usually when you're the first, you're learning everything. That means you're figuring out how financial aid works. You're figuring out how to live in a dorm and what the requirements are. You're doing everything for the first time. And you can't really lean on your parents or someone in your family to help you. And that's where, folks from the university or outside folks really can help in that area, including myself, which was in scholarships. And so eventually these individuals, these students are going to graduate, get degrees, and ultimately they're going to school to get either a job or start a business. Whatever the reason is for going to college, it's leading to some type of result. And so now we start talking about money. And this is where I really love to transition from first generation college students to now building first generation wealth, because these individuals, these students are going to become professionals, either in engineering, law school, medical fields, what you name it. they're all going to become successful. And with that success often leads to higher income. And so with that higher income, we need to know where to put the money. We need to know how to spend the money. We need to know how to manage the money. There's all sorts of things that come with the responsibility of working with money.
I absolutely agree. And I'm super excited about that because money sometimes can be such a taboo uh, word. I mean, when I'm out teaching in any workshop or whatever, and we're talking about energy, and I'm talking about frequency and how we can increase our frequency, and I can see that we have to educate about that as well. We're energy beings living in this physical realm, right? And so we put off a frequency, and I guess today's world would be we put off a vibe, a certain vibe. And so while I'm teaching them, I say certain key words like, how do you feel? Just kind of go inside and say, how do you feel when I say the word baby? Like a newborn baby, everyone goes, oh, how cute, or oh, you get that vibe, that feeling, that frequency. And then how about gratitude? This brings to mind all sorts of visual things, and it raises our frequency. And then I say money, and you can just feel the wah, wah, wah. You can just feel how you can feel it anyway. And so that's one of the things that I really focus on teaching others is, hey, everything that we think, everything we were programmed with is there, right? So Josh, what inspired you to go in this financial direction?
Well, first, it was really about meeting that goal, that vision. Well, when I came across Dreamcatcher, there was this vision put out there that what if we could have a financial professional in every tribal community across the country? And having worked for a national scholarship organization, we had to cover the whole country. So I knew the enormity of the vision and also of this massive goal. How can we grow and expand across the whole country and put a licensed financial professional? And so with my knowledge in that area, I thought, you know what, let's see if we can do that. I want to give it a shot, give it a try. And so that's the other part is, okay, how can we put a licensed financial professional in our communities? And being that we're from Zuni, that means that we have someone local that is in the community that happens to be Zuni, to be able to talk to locals, talk to our people, talk to our families about this very subject. And so that's really where I started to really see the big vision, see the big picture, and the ability to be able to cross across the country in forming this business, and possibly also crossing into Canada as well with our First Nations people up in Canada.
That is amazing. And what a wonderful vision. And what a great way to be, on the forefront of educating individuals. Now, I know some of our viewers out there are wondering if this is just for Native American communities or if it's for everybody.
It's for everybody, but we do have a Native American focus because a lot of our tribal communities, unfortunately, have just seen the negative side economically when it comes to money. Unfortunately, Native American communities rank first in poverty, or we're the leading group of people that are impoverished, lack of resources, lack of infrastructure. There's all sorts of things that come with the lack of things. Mm-hmm. And that's what we want to change. We want to flip that. We want to be able to say, you know what, let's take it into our own hands. And one of those first steps really is understanding how money works.
I love that. That's total like empowerment. And that's what I truly believe in, because it doesn't matter where you are. Um, Learning about money, you have to start somewhere. And when I have the huge privilege of being able to go out to some of the BIE schools, or Bureau of Indian Education schools, to teach, like kindergarten or preschool through third grade, about these different concepts about money. And one of the things that kind of gets brought up a lot is, what are your thoughts on money? When we're little, and we might be a toddler, and we're going and we find a coin, we find money on the ground or whatever, and we pick it up. And if you're little, what's the first thing that littles do? Is they want to put it where? They want to just put it right in their mouth. And a lot of us will be like, no, don't put that in your mouth. It's what?
It's dirty.
It's dirty. So from the time that we're tiny, we start having these patterns or beliefs really pressed into our subconscious about money, that it's dirty, that it's only for the rich people, that, oh, one of the things is I've heard is, we're Indians, we're supposed to be poor, and I'm like, oh, how, like, talk about cursing yourself, right? And so I really love that we can educate. Doesn't matter where. You don't have to have a lot of money now to learn more, right? It's just about being comfortable and getting our central nervous system really in alignment with being comfortable with money. Some of us get money and we hoard it. Some of us get money and it just burns a hole in our pocket. I've had to overcome a lot of things, because when you have money, there are certain things. So it's really cool when I'm teaching children about this. We really go through, and we have little pictures of like candy and bikes and phones and things like that, and water, and maybe medicine and glasses, and different things like that, food. And then we talk about needs and wants. And it's so cool how the little kids just glom onto this. And so one of my passions is to really teach from a young age the ability to be comfortable with that. And then I just, as they get older, I am just excited. And that's what really drew me into what you do. Because if somebody's kind of in a situation where they want to get out, or they know that they need to learn a little bit more, I would encourage everybody to reach out to Josh. And his phone number is here. You can text him for a free consultation, a complimentary consultation with Josh, and you can sit down and you can go over all your finances and just get a really comprehensive view of where you're at. Because Josh, wouldn't you agree that you can't get to point B if you don't really have a plan, or you don't really know where to start? Well, let me give some credit. You might know A through J, but if you want to get to Z, right? Wouldn't you agree that you would need a plan?
Absolutely, because things, we have to be aware of the blind side too. Maybe there's things that we don't know about, and that's true education. Learning something new, something that maybe you haven't ever heard of before, to be able to hear that part of this whole process, this journey. Maybe there's a better way to approach each step.
Yeah. And so a lot of times, a lot of people are really struggling with maybe shame around money and debt, fear. These are real things that each of us have faced in our lives. And usually there's one major event or thing that really propels a person to be like, oh, dang, I need to learn a little bit more about this. So if any of you are really feeling that, I would encourage you to reach out to Josh. So his website is up on the screen now. And also if you text the word podcast, the promo code podcast, to the number on the screen, 505-933-0291, you will be able to schedule a complimentary consultation with Josh. And it's amazing because it really helps you to get a clear view of where you're at. And sometimes that's all we need. We just need an advocate, someone to go, you've got this, you can do this. And here are the next steps, and here are the options, right? Okay, so Josh, what was that poignant point for you, that turning point where you were like, I might need to learn a little more about money?
Absolutely. Well, obviously, one of the first things that people do when they're learning about money is their first car purchase, or maybe their first home purchase. Mine happened to be, I wanted to buy a vehicle. I was off to college and I needed something to get me around. And so that's where I started to learn, okay, we all learn from our family too. And so my mom said, okay, you need to build your credit. So I didn't know what credit was. And on college campuses across the country, there's going to be a time when you're a brand new student walking around, and there's going to be some stands out there that say, hey, you want a free t-shirt? Sign up for a credit card. That was me. I got a free t-shirt because I wanted that. I wanted the free t-shirt, but that meant I had to sign up for a credit card. Mm-hmm. And because there was already a purpose there, I already knew I needed to build my credit. It was just normal. It was a normal decision to go ahead and get a credit card. But the part that I didn't know was basically how to make payments and how to pay it off. And so, there's little rules in there that we're not taught, but apparently, and I learned this later on, you're supposed to pay off your balance, or at least keep it below 30%. And, nobody told me that. It was just like, okay, I have money. As long as I make my payments on time, the basics, everything will be okay. And there goes your credit score. You start to build on it. And so, that was one of my first lessons when it came to really understanding credit and also getting into debt. And then, of course, being in higher education, we have student loan debt. There's folks out there having worked in scholarships. That's the whole point. Like, I went into the field of scholarships to minimize the burden of students taking out student loans to pay for college. Mm-hmm. That's where scholarships came in. If we could give a student grant money or scholarship money, then they don't have to take out $20,000 for school. Maybe we can get it as close to zero as possible so that they don't have to be in debt by the time they graduate. And so that's another turning point as well. It's just really making sure that our students across the country understand how scholarships work.
I love that. Especially going through the whole, hey, I have a credit card, and how many of us have just maxed that out and then have no credit card, and then learning another lesson called there's interest. Right? There's flipping interest on this, and I keep paying it down, but the balance isn't going down. There's interest. And so what a great teaching opportunity, right? Or a learning opportunity for us. So I love that. So Josh, I just want to make sure that, or just to give you an opportunity to really, say what you want to say about that, about anything else. Do you work with people? If there's somebody out there that's listening right now in a Native community or near a Native community, can they reach out to you and say, hey, because that's what I did. I was like, I want to do what you're doing. What are you doing? What should a person do?
Absolutely. So we have public presentations that we do, and these are educational series. We talk about different topics related to money. We talk about retirement. We talk about savings. We talk about debt management. All sorts of things related to money. These are topics that we cover publicly. In a lot of our presentations are over Zoom, which allows people to tune in across the country, anywhere in the world. Or sometimes we'll have a local event, an in-person event where we invite the community to come in and either join us for coffee or maybe have lunch with us, because we have many partners who love this. They do the same work, but maybe they a little bit more of it in a different field. So for example, we have an upcoming home buying workshop that's coming up here in Albuquerque. And we invited the community to come out and we call it like a lunch and learn. Have lunch with us and learn about the home buying process while you're eating. So those are different ways people can connect with us. And of course, reaching out directly to me and having a sit down one-on-one session where we actually take a more of a deeper personalized dive into what your financial goals are. And based on that information, we can definitely make a plan and start implementing it.
That's fantastic. I just really am super excited that there's an organization out there for to help us teach our communities. And so with that, I have a one last question for you, Josh. What legacy would you love to leave?
That is such a very important question, because a lot of us, including myself, want to represent our family name, the place where we come from. That legacy is really, what kind of impact can I make in this world, and be able to carry that on, whether it's getting people out of debt or being able to leave a financial legacy in some cases, or maybe to be known as a person who was giving and a philanthropist, to be able to leave money for organizations, nonprofits, whatever those legacies are. For me personally, I want to make an impact in the community that I come from, because I feel very strongly about this idea of poverty. We need to take matters into our own hands, financially speaking, and be able to, create those businesses. We need to be able to build those houses. We basically need business to be able to come in to more tribal communities so that we can start to really be financially okay, and maybe more. There's definitely tribal communities out there, or communities in general in America, that they want to be better off financially. But where do we start? How can we get there? And that's where I'm coming in to make that impact.
That is fantastic. And I happen to know that you and your team are making a huge impact on that. And what a way to just take the reins. And I have a philosophy and a mantra, if you will. And part of it, I won't say the whole thing, but part of that is GSD, getting stuff done, right? And that's what you guys do. It's like total GSD. You're getting out there and you're doing it, and you're, like you said, taking it into your own hands and empowering ourselves to learn. And I really firmly believe that when you put yourself in a position of learning, you really conquer the fear. You just blow up that fear. And sometimes just taking that first step really does that. So if any of you want to take the first step and really reining in your financial life, the financial aspect of living, please reach out to Josh. If you'll see at the bottom of the screen, his phone number is there. Text the word podcast, the promo code podcast, to receive a complimentary consultation with Josh. And Josh is amazing. Like Josh is the king of no judgment zone. he rules that realm, and he's super easy to work with, and just puts you at ease from the very beginning. And Josh, I want to just acknowledge that about you, and thank you so much for doing that and being who you are, because that's hugely important. So I just want to thank you for joining me today, and thank our audience out there. If you have questions, please reach out to me, and leave a comment, and then when I post this on YouTube, I can't go live from my business page yet because I need 100 followers. So I need you all out there to help me reach that, and we'll be coming straight from the Frequency Factor podcast thereafter. So Josh, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and your knowledge, and sharing that today with us. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Well, you take care, and I will be in touch with you soon. Thank you.